who's more important, Cooper Mays or Mike Matthews emerging? Let's begin with that, and then we'll get to.
You mean Cooper Mays' replacement emerging?
Cooper Mays' replacement emerging, right? Which we believe will be William Satterwhite. So, William Satterwhite, hot or cold on him?
I'm hot on him, and it is not my eyeballs. It's just as a journalist, sometimes I have to learn to trust sources, and a lot of people are very, very, very high on him. And if a lot of people are very, very high on him, I feel like I need to be high on him too.
I agree. I am very high on William Satterwhite, and I will give you the reason, just to be real honest with you, is because Cooper Mays told me he reminds me of me. That's pretty much all I needed to hear.
That's hot.
Yeah, it is. Mike Matthews, a receiver who, did you realize he played in 11 games last year? Did you realize? And then I'll add to this. Josh Heupel threw out there that he was banged up last year. Is anybody believing that?
No, I don't believe that at all. I think Josh Heupel's trying to provide cover for himself for not playing Mike Matthews when Mike Matthews probably should have been starting last year, if I'm just being honest.
I think he should have started. We'll get to Nico. I think he should have started in 2023 as well. But with Mike Matthews in particular, what do you expect out of him and his improvement? Are you hot or cold on him?
I'm hot on him. Remember, I thought Nico was created in a lab to run Josh Heupel's offense, but I thought Mike Matthews was going to be his preferred target after a certain period. And I see that duo happening this year. So we could see maybe this is what they were waiting on. Nico to Mike Matthews as the historically great target combination. And maybe I was just off by a year, Dave. Maybe Mike Matthews this year is going to be the legend that I think he could be.
That's hot.
All right. Now, let me ask you this, though. With Matthews.
Why are you talking about me like that?
Sorry. Okay, you are. Let me ask you this with Matthews. He should have played more last year. Do you think it was an NIL play?
No, I don't think it was an NIL play. I think that's why he did hit the portal back in, I guess it was December, right? But I don't think it was an NIL play. I think he kind of had it. I think he made his NIL play in the offseason because he knew he was going to play more this year. I think he kind of accepted that he was probably going to be more of a backup this year or last year and then step into the role and become dominant this year. If that makes sense.
Okay. Now, the third one depends on the other two, and that'll be our thoughts on Nico Iamaleava. Hit that like button if you don't mind. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't to this point. It is hot or cold, and it's brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. Who's more important in Nico, our next subject on the board? Who's more important, Matthews or Satterwhite?
Oh, man. I'm going to lean Satterwhite because I just don't know if somebody else can play the position. And center's crucial for this position at Tennessee. So I'm going to lean Satterwhite, even though I think Matthews will be like the more standout star because guess what? He's a go-to receiver, and they always become standout stars.
Well, I think it's Satterwhite is the most important to his development because, I like Brazel. I feel like they can manufacture some yardage because Josh Heupel is a good offensive coach. But the other reason, quite frankly, is Tennessee's had some shady development on the offensive line. I mean, I don't think that Andre Keurig should have taken a year to develop. I don't think Lance Hurd should take a year to develop. The only guy it seems like that came with his lunch pail to play was Cooper Mays. Now, Darnell Wright, he was good his last year at Tennessee, but he wasn't that great the year before. You want to say Spraggins in that group? Maybe?
I thought Spraggins pretty much stepped up the minute he became a starter in Heupel's system as a guard. He was a huge part of Tennessee's running game, being what it was for 3 years. So I can't put Spraggins in that group if I'm being honest.
No, I don't have a problem with Spraggins not being in that group. But my ultimate question to you is, who is most important? Who will make Nico the hottest?
That's hot.
Who will make Nico the hottest? I'm with you on Satterwhite, Will. Now, well, no, okay. Mike Matthews is the most important for making Nico look like a star. How about that? He's not the most important for winning, though, because Nico may look like a star with Mike Matthews, but they won't be able to run the ball, and he's going to get sacked a lot if Satterwhite doesn't emerge. So Satterwhite needs to emerge so Nico doesn't get sacked all the time and so that they can actually run the ball well.
One of the pet peeves I've got about Josh Heupel is I feel like he makes his decisions now, and it's March. I feel like he makes his decisions as far as who is going to play when way too early in the process. Caleb, am I on to something there or no?
No, I totally agree. He had it in his mind last year that Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, and Chris Brazel, I believe, were going to be, and I'm sorry, Dante Thornton were going to be his starting receivers last year. He had that made up in March, and the only reason you saw Chris Brazel get worked into the rotation is because of injuries. But I think Heupel really doesn't like deviating from his plans in early March, and part of that is somewhat, to be fair to him, his offense does require a little bit of chemistry and working together. So I think he wants the same guys taking the first team reps from the start. I mean, Dave, you know this, like, the more, not first team reps, but the fewer first team reps guys have together, the less they're going to be consistent with chemistry playing in this offense in September.
Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing that I think you may be forgetting is that there are times, and I've said this before, where coaches are pretty close to 50-50 on which player should play. So you don't know if a guy's a gamer, if he's just participated in practice. You don't know if a guy is able to handle the rigors of going through the season. So, Caleb, I think that is troublesome, the fact that he seems so set on his starting lineup from the beginning. Listen, if it's 57-43%, this guy should start over that guy, you've got to make an adjustment pretty quick, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely you do. And I mean, but I don't think Heupel likes to do that. I think Heupel really is committed to, that's one of his weaknesses. But I understand it because a huge benefit to Heupel's offense is just chemistry and familiarity with each other. And I mean, that is where his offense is actually kind of similar to Spurrier's offense. The Stacey Spurrier's offense, his quarterbacks are taught to throw to a spot, right? And they had to anticipate that the receivers would know to run to that spot.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I felt like they were always working in new receivers. I remember the first time that I saw Jaquez Green. I remember the first time that I saw Riedel Anthony. I feel like he works those guys in. And listen, if you want a bad attitude, don't play a receiver. I mean, you got to agree that's a fact. I mean, if you don't play a receiver, a guy who wants to catch balls and he can't even get in the game, then what does that do for you? Nothing.
No, that's true. You're right.
That guy's tuned out. And I think that's what happened to Mike Matthews last year.